What is going on, guys? Josh with AVS Fitness here today, bringing you a little roundtable discussion talk. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while now, actually. So today we get to finally get into it. We're going to do a quick video on SARMs. This is a very hot topic in today's fitness industry. I'm not really going to touch on other PEDs like injectable steroids. Today's just going to be really SARMs. So what are SARMs? SARMs are selective androgen receptor modulators. So you have androgen receptors throughout your body and your muscle tissue. That is what these are targeting. So SARMs are sort of replacing and have moved out what the place prohormones used to hold. So prohormones were precursors to things like testosterone, but they would metabolize and convert in the liver. So most of them were very liver toxic. There were a lot of nasty side effects. SARMs are currently being promoted as this low side effect, healthy way to essentially not have to inject something into your body or pose a big threat to your liver. As far as my personal viewpoints on this, in general, I think the biggest number one issue with any PEDs are finding a quality source. I've spoken to several people that have had extremely negative side effects and not life altering, but things that have lasted a couple years. That SARMs they've taken have done damage to them. In my opinion, this is due to the quality of the source, because a lot of times companies, to make their SARM line more effective, will add in other compounds that aren't SARMs, okay? Like some older, more effective prohormones. The issue with this is it deals a lot of damage on your liver and kidneys. So make sure if you're going to do this, you have a source and you also have things for on-cycle support and PCT at your disposal, because even though SARMs are not injectable steroids, they can still suppress your testosterone production. So make sure when you're transitioning off of them, you have something again on hand just to make sure you're keeping yourself safe. I've got a mass list here. I'm just going to touch on a few, but let's talk about some of the different types of SARMs. One of the most common ones that seems to be the more mild in side effects is ostarine. And the funny thing about SARMs is SARMs are actually sometimes used in a clinical setting to prevent muscle wasting diseases or muscle atrophy in medical patients. Ostarine at low doses seems to be effective and safe. A lot of times people will use this for trying to cut fat, or they'll stack it with other SARMs. As far as length of cycle for SARMs, people tend to stick around 6 to 8 weeks. From what I've read, you can push it up to 10, but again, it depends on what you're taking and if it's shutting you down or not. A new one that's come on the market is RAD 140. This seems to be the closest thing that you can get to injectable testosterone. Some people even claim that it has higher potency than some injectable testosterone. Again, I don't know how true that is or not, but RAD 140 is a more modern one that's come on the market. This one will definitely shut you down. Again, because you are increasing testosterone production, it will inhibit your testosterone after a little bit. People tend to dose this a little shorter, between 4 and 6 weeks, and stack it with something if they want to run something longer than that. Another big SARM available is LGD. Again, a lot of people use this for cutting. Some people also use SARMs in between their anabolic cycles as well. Again, I don't really have an opinion on that. It's all about the source, man. It's all about where you get your stuff. You need to make sure it's legit. One SARM that's a little bit different from the others is MK677. They all have different names. This one is sort of appetite regulation. A lot of times people will take this for growth hormone, so it can raise your IGF-1 levels. This will typically make your appetite increase. Okay. So a lot of times people will take like RAD 140 and MK677, so you get increased testosterone production and growth hormone production. Cartine is a big one. A lot of people use Cartine, which is actually not a SARM, but it's in the realm of SARMs. People use this again for cutting. A lot of the SARMs are used for cutting because they can help with your cardiorespiratory endurance and target fat loss. Those are actually the main ones. Again, if you're bulking, a lot of people will use that MK677 because it increases your appetite. They'll stack it with something like RAD 140 or LGD. Usually those are the big ones. If you're trying to lose fat, a lot of people go for ostarine, sometimes LGD, Cartine. Another one is andarine. That's a big one. So there's a lot of options. So again, guys, my recommendation is SARMs at the moment seem to be a potentially safer but effective method of using PEDs. So if you want to take some of your training to the next level, it is something to consider. As most people say when they are talking about anabolic steroids, I would not be taking these if you are 16 years old trying to get bigger for football. Okay, you guys can simply eat a lot of food. If you want to take something, take creatine, drink a lot of water. These are for serious athletes that have been training for several years. Okay, um, I would personally not even consider these if you're under the age of 18. Ideally, you would be 21 or over before you start these, okay? Again, the biggest issue is you have to make sure you have a good source, okay? You don't want to be messing up your liver because somebody decided to throw 1-andro into your rad 140, okay? Find a source you trust, whether it's online or in person. Look at reviews on that company. Face-to-face testimonials are the best. I mean, they're not the best, but if you have reputable people that have done this, um, that goes a long way. It really does. And then, like I said, make sure you have things on hand. Not everyone has to run a PCT or have on-cycle support for SARMs because people respond to them differently at different dosages. But you want to make sure that you have Clomid or Nova. HCG is not really, I don't think, needed for these. But you want something, maybe an aromatase inhibitor, aromasin inhibitor. My bad. So again, guys, quality number one. PCT. Okay, quality PCT. Those are the two things to look for in SARMs. If you guys have any more questions about them, let me know in the bottom in the comment section. If you guys want to see a specific video about a very specific type of SARM, I can go more in depth. This was just my kind of general thoughts on how I feel about them. All right. So let me know if you guys have questions. I'm gonna be putting out a supplement review next week, I think. All right. So stay tuned. Look for that. I'll catch you guys later.